This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Good morning. Today is June 18, 1970. You're watching CBS News, Channel 3. My name is Jorelis Cruz. Today, Native Americans are struggling with the government policies of moving them off reservations and into cities where they might assimilate into mainstream. Not only did they face the loss of land, many of the uprooted Indians often had difficulties adjusting to urban life. Back in 1961, when the policy was discontinued, the United States Commission on Civil Rights noted that for Indians, poverty and deprivation are common. There were also thousands of Native American children taken from their families and tribes across North America. An Indian adoption project placed hundreds of Native American children with white parents, the first national effort to place an entire child population transactionally and transculturally. This was the white man's way of assimilating the Indian, to break their spirit, by building Indian boarding schools away from the reservation, and removing babies and children to be raised by non-native families. Tribes bent on saving themselves could do little to stop the theft of these future generations. Their grieving never stopped. It was yet another brutal disappointment and another form of genocide. Today we spoke with Cheyenne Lane. She says, "For adoptees like me, we look in the mirror and know something is wrong. Yet we're helpless to change it. No one can discuss identity issues with you. You're troubled by that. The feeling of being lost and abandoned never leaves you alone or gives you peace." Thank you. Once again, you're watching CBS News. I will now pass on to Elise Rosa.
Thank you. Oh, and did you know it is said that the African American Civil Rights Movement greatly affected the Native American movement, known as the Red Power? During the 1950s and 1960s, Native Americans had the lowest income, the worst health rate, the highest suicide rate, the shortest life expectancy, the highest unemployment of all minority groups in the United States. Native American activists sought to draw attention to these conditions by suing the federal government for the return of the native lands and organizing several demonstrations in which they demanded Indian autonomy and return control of the lands lost because of broken trades. The activists called themselves the Indians of all tribes, offering to reclaim Alcatraz, the land that was once theirs from the federal government, for $20 to $24 in glass beads and red cloths. So it is said that Congress passed a termination resolution, meaning the U.S. government would no longer support the Indian tribes, and all relations with the Indians would be turned over to the states, which the tribes were in, encouraging them even more. And now I'll be turning it over to you, Zachary Henry.
Good morning, this is CBS Channel 3, and we're here to talk about Native Americans. Native Americans been through a lot. They had many difficulties, successes, and failures. They lost lands, and it took them a while to adjust to urban life. Native Americans went through a lot back in the 1950s. They had the lowest income, health, and a high suicide rate and unemployment. This is when they tried to seek rights. And to seek rights, they used the Red Power movement in the 1960s and in the early 1970s. That's why they reclaimed Alcatraz. That tiny little island was a symbol of great land once ruled by free and noble Indians. And they also started the AIM movement in the 1960s to help channel their government. And this is all. Thank you for being with us. CBS News, Channel 3. Feel me?